This is what you missed the month of August 2024. I'm Ryan Wingfield. We're only doing these once a month now, so hopefully what you missed was me. The Olympic Games came to a close this month in Paris, with the USA winning the most medals and tying China for the most gold medals. Russia didn't compete in the Games, yet somehow still led the Games with the most positive drug tests. Some of the viral moments from the Games include an Australian breakdancer showing what it would look like if I competed, a Turkish pistol shooter who almost certainly works professionally, and a French pole vaulter who failed to medal because he was jumping with two poles. Ukraine has gone on the offensive in the war with Russia. In addition to drone attacks in Moscow, Ukraine says it has seized nearly 400 square miles of Russian land. Good luck keeping it, said the Mongols, the Ottomans, the French, the Swedish, the Polish, the Japanese, and the Germans. You see, if you've ever played Risk, you know that Russia is very hard to invade. A temporary ceasefire has been announced between Israel and Hamas to allow children in Gaza to be vaccinated for polio. That's right, a problem that's been around for thousands of years, but that we thought we had fixed in the 1950s, is still causing problems. On top of all of that, they also have to deal with polio. The World Health Organization has declared a global health emergency following a monkeypox outbreak in Africa. One of the problems is that the monkeys are refusing to wear masks. The U.S. presidential race has a new leader. After taking over the Democratic nomination, Vice President Kamala Harris has been steadily gaining support and now narrowly leads former President Donald Trump in most polling. This is new territory for Trump because he's never experienced a woman finishing first. Trump has earned the support of third-party candidate RFK Jr., who suspended his run for the White House. The two are even campaigning together on the promise that two damaged heads are better than one. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has been indicted for a second time in the election interference case. It's good practice for when they have to do it again after the fall election. Across the pond, the UK Prime Minister says the country's fall budget will be, quote, painful as he deals with a massive deficit left by the previous Conservative government. Thankfully, if British people can't pay their heating bills and freeze to death, it will be all the easier to keep a stiff upper lip. Japan's Prime Minister is stepping down amid a series of corruption scandals. A Japanese political scandal is a lot like a Western political scandal, except that you have to commit the ritual suicide seppuku. This month, Japan issued its first ever megaquake advisory after a 7.1 magnitude quake off the country's southern coast. If the country is really in danger, the advisory will be upgraded to a Godzilla. North Korea is reopened to tourism after nearly 5 years of border closures from COVID. It explains their new motto, North Korea, come for the food, stay because you are a political prisoner being held in a forced labor camp. A new study projects that China will have almost twice as many pets as young children by 2030. Part of the problem is it's really hard to make a baby when your dog is watching. Chinese scientists say they have found a way to make water from lunar soil on the moon, so you might not be able to get blood from a stone, but at least you can get some water. Speaking of stones, an examination of the altar stone at the center of Stonehenge shows that it likely came from present-day Scotland. That means it was carried about 450 miles before the invention of the wheel. It's not that impressive, though, when you realize that the giant rock only weighs 1 stone. You see, stone is a British measure of weight, equal to about 13 pounds. It's a very funny joke if you're a metrologist. That's someone who studies measurements. I'll just move on. Finally, 2 astronauts who were supposed to spend 8 days at the International Space Station will now be stuck there until February due to safety concerns from their Boeing spacecraft. They will be returned to Earth on a SpaceX ship, which is their corporate rival. Talk about rubbing salt in the wound. That's like having a funeral for Ronald McDonald catered by Burger King. Really, the whole experience sounds like a combination of random TV shows. It's Gilligan's Island meets Lost in Space meets Shark Tank. You can just imagine the theme song. Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale that's sure to make you laugh. Two astronauts stranded thanks to a Boeing craft. Call me Hollywood. I'll see you next month.